Monday morning, my phone started blowing up with texts from friends sending me screenshots. Sabrina had posted a TikTok video sobbing about how her teacher had been grooming her since freshman year. The view count was already at 50,000 and climbing fast. Brooks called within an hour saying she was working to get it taken down, but screenshots were already spreading across Facebook and Instagram. The video showed Sabrina crying into the camera, mascara running down her face, holding what looked like an ultrasound photo. Tuesday morning, the teachers union rep showed up at our house with Principal Thornton for a meeting. Thornton sat on our couch admitting he had zero evidence of any wrongdoing, but said the optics of the situation meant Marcus had to stay on administrative leave while they investigated. The union rep filed a grievance right there from our living room, but warned us it probably wouldn't help much. That afternoon, while Marcus was in the shower, I went through Sabrina's social media accounts and found something weird. She had 3 different profiles with 3 different versions of her story. One said the baby was due in December, another said January, and the third said February. Each account had different details about when their supposed relationship started. I took screenshots of everything and sent them to Brooks immediately. Wednesday morning, Marcus's mom called crying, asking if what she'd heard from her neighbor was true. Marcus could barely get words out to explain, so I took the phone and walked her through everything while he sat at the kitchen table with his head in his hands. She believed us, but I could hear the doubt in her voice when she asked why a teenage girl would make all this up. Detective Rivera called that afternoon with bad news. The prosecutor wouldn't pursue charges because Sabrina hadn't made any direct threats against us. Apparently faking a pregnancy and stalking weren't enough without explicit threats of violence. I threw my phone so hard against the wall that the screen cracked. Brooks filed for an emergency restraining order the next day and got us a hearing for the following Thursday. She warned us it would be hard to get one approved without evidence of direct threats or violence, but said we had to try anyway. When I went back to work on Monday, I couldn't focus on anything. My supervisor noticed me staring at my computer screen without typing for 20 minutes and gently suggested I take some personal days to deal with whatever was going on. I realized then that this poison was spreading into every single part of our lives. Thursday morning, we drove to the courthouse for the restraining order hearing. Sabrina showed up with her mother and a lawyer, wearing loose clothes and holding her belly like she was really pregnant. When the judge asked why she was there, she said she was actually afraid of Marcus and needed protection from him. The judge shuffled through papers for what felt like forever, while Sabrina's lawyer stood up and started talking about how my husband had taken advantage of a vulnerable student. He held up photos from the restaurant and said Sabrina was just a desperate pregnant teenager trying to get the father of her baby to acknowledge what he'd done. Brooks jumped up with our evidence folder and spread everything across the table in front of the judge. The dashcam footage played on his laptop showing Sabrina breaking into our car at 2 a.m. He showed the emails she'd sent asking where Marcus would be for emergency homework help and the gym surveillance of her following us around. The judge kept writing notes and asking questions about dates and times. After 2 hours of this back and forth, Sabrina took the stand and started crying immediately. She told this whole story about Marcus giving her special attention since freshman year and how he'd promised to leave me for her. Brooks asked her for specific dates when this happened and she got all confused and couldn't answer. He asked who else saw them together and she just kept crying harder. When he asked why she was at Riverside Park during school hours, she claimed Marcus told her to meet him there but couldn't show any texts or emails proving it. She said he must have deleted them from her phone somehow. The judge finally called a recess, and when we came back, he said he was granting a mutual restraining order. Neither of us could contact or go near Sabrina, and she couldn't contact or go near us. Brooks stood up and argued that we were the victims here, but the judge said without criminal charges, this was the best he could do. We walked out to the parking garage in complete silence. Marcus suddenly turned and punched a concrete pillar so hard I heard the crack. His hand swelled up immediately and 2 of his fingers were bent wrong. I drove him to urgent care without saying a word because what was there to say? The nurse cleaning his hand asked if this was a domestic violence situation, and we both started laughing in this bitter way that made her step back. She wrapped his fingers and gave us discharge papers while avoiding eye contact. A week later, I was planting flowers in our front garden when I noticed footprints in the dirt by our windows that weren't ours. I called a security company that same day and had cameras installed all around our house. The tech installing them mentioned we were his 5th teacher family this year dealing with student problems. That night, I found Marcus